Hi everyone, my name's Alisa Hindin from the Department of Educational Studies, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a strategy to increase participation when you're running a synchronous online class. What I noticed in my classes was that even though students were participating and I would break them out into groups, sometimes I would ask them to share information or thoughts about a topic, and I would have only a few students respond. So with some help from my daughter, I decided that one way to increase participation was to first have students write down what they were thinking and then share. And that's something that I do in my live, in seat classes. And so one way to do it so that we could do it online was to create an editable Google document. So in this picture here, I'm just showing how I would create a new document in Google Drive. So I would go into my Google Drive, I would click on new, and then within there, I would click on documents. And so you see to the right here, I have a document. It looks like just a blank document like you would see in Word. I called it lesson prompt, but you could title it in a way that makes sense for you. And then the next thing that I would do is I would add a table. And the reason that I would do this is because I wanted to make sure that each student could share what they were thinking. So I would just ask them to select one row to write in. And I would create the number of rows that were appropriate given how many students I had in my class. And sometimes I would have two columns. It depends what I was asking students to do. But when they're in the document and everybody's doing this live, they could see where another student is writing, so they would just select a row that was empty. When you do this, one of the things that you need to do though is share it. And so on the top of the Google document, there is a document called share. And so when you hit the share button, what you find are two options, either share with people and groups or get link. So I would select get link. And then from there, I would have to change one setting. And the setting is anyone with the link, the way it's originally set up, it has everybody being a viewer. But what you want is for everyone to be able to be an editor so that they could actually write in the document. So if you click on this arrow here, there's a drop down box, which you can see over here. And what I would do is switch it from viewer to editor, and then you copy this link here. And then the last step of what you do is you send the link to the students. So originally I was emailing it, but then I realized that if you're in a program like Teams or Zoom or something, that you can send the link just in the chat. And then so you give the prompt to the students, they click on it, and they can see it on their screens. You can pull it up and share it so that everyone can see it also as part of the class. And so I included one example of when I asked students to describe instructional strategies that they had learned about in their other classes. And what we would do after each student finished writing, and I can see when they're done, right, when they've stopped writing, is I would go through each item and I would say, oh, well, who wrote about semantic mapping, for example? And they would talk about it. And overall, I found that it was a nice additional way to get some participation in my online classes. Thanks.